HOA illegally sold my 2,000 acres, so I sold their homes and evicted the entire HOA. The sun hung low over Willow Creek, casting golden rays across the 2,000 acres of wildflowers that had been in my family for generations. Those fields weren't just land, they were my father's legacy, my mother's dreams, and my promise to keep them untouched. Every spring, the flowers bloomed in waves of purple and gold, a living testament to love and resilience. I'm Jack Harlan, and that land was my heart. But the HOA thought it was theirs to sell. It started 3 years ago when the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, led by Karen Whitaker, decided my fields were underutilized. Karen, with her manicured nails and condescending smile, had moved into our quiet town with big plans to modernize it. She rallied the HOA group of self-entitled suburbanites who saw my wildflowers as a barrier to their golf courses and strip malls. They claimed my land was zoned for development, citing obscure bylaws I'd never heard of. I fought them in court, but their high-priced lawyers buried me in paperwork. Then, one day, I woke up to a letter. My 2,000 acres had been sold to a developer for $10 million. The HOA had forged documents, bribed officials, and stolen my legacy. I stood in my fields that day, the scent of lavender choking me as rage burned in my chest. They didn't just take my land, they took my parents' memory, my daughter Lily's future, everything I'd fought to protect. The court ruled against me, saying the sale was legal. Karen smirked in the courtroom, her victory lap complete. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I spent months researching, digging through property laws, and uncovering the HOA's dirty secrets. Karen and her cronies had been skimming dues, fudging records, and strong-arming residents for years. Their own homes, built on a shady rezoning deal, sat on land they didn't fully own. I found a loophole. The HOA's properties were tied to a trust one could buy out. So I did. I sold everything I had, me truck, my savings, even my mother's wedding ring to raise the money. Then, I bought the trust and became the legal owner of every home in Willow Creek's HOA district. The day I served the eviction notices was chaos. Karen's face turned ashen as she read the papers. "You can't do this," she screamed, her voice shrill enough to shatter glass. But I could, and I did. I sold their homes to a rival developer, one who promised to turn their precious cul-de-sacs into low-income housing. The irony was delicious. Karen's gated community, her symbol of status, would become the very thing she'd sneered at. As the evictions began, the town turned on me. Neighbors I'd known for decades called me a monster. "You're ruining families," they shouted. But where were they when Karen stole my land? Where was their outrage when my daughter cried herself to sleep, knowing her grandfather's fields were gone? I stood firm, watching as moving trucks hauled away Karen's designer furniture. Her husband begged me to reconsider, tears in his eyes. I felt a pang of guilt, but it was fleeting. They'd made their choice. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. One night, as I sat alone in my empty house, a knock came at the door. It was Sarah, a quiet widow who lived on the edge of the HOA district. She'd never joined Karen's clique, always keeping to herself. "Jack," she said, her voice trembling, "I know what you did, and I know why, but you need to know something." She handed me a folder, her hands shaking. Inside were documents proving she'd been coerced into signing over her own land years ago, land that was bundled into the HOA's deal to sell my acres. Sarah had lost everything too, but she'd stayed silent, fearing retaliation. "I'm not your enemy," she whispered. "But this isn't justice." Her words hit like a sledgehammer. I'd been so consumed by vengeance that I hadn't seen the collateral damage. Sarah wasn't like Karen, she was a victim, caught in the crossfire of my war. I'd sold her home along with the others, thinking everyone in the HOA was complicit. Now I saw the truth. My revenge had hurt the innocent too. I tried to make it right, offering to buy back Sarah's house, but the developer refused. The deal was done. The final blow came when Lily, my 16-year-old daughter, confronted me. "Dad, you're not a hero," she said, her eyes red from crying. "You're just like them now." She was right. I'd become the thing I despised, a man who wielded power without mercy. The fields were gone, the homes were sold, and the town was fractured. Karen and her HOA were ruined, but so was I. My heart, once rooted in those wildflowers, was now a barren wasteland. In the end, I stood alone in the fields, now bulldozed into muddy patches. The developer had lied, no low-income housing was coming. It was all condos and parking lots now. I'd won my revenge, But at what cost? Sarah's words echoed in my mind. This isn't justice. I'd thought I was righting a wrong, but I'd only deepened the wounds. The town still whispers about me. Some call me a villain, others a vigilante. Karen's gone. Her empire crumbled. But the price was too high. I lost my daughter's respect, Sarah's trust, and my own soul. The wildflowers are gone forever, and with them the man I used to be. What do you think? Was my revenge justified, or did I become the monster I fought against? Share your thoughts on justice, vengeance, and the cost of fighting fire with fire.